Hello everyone, Will the Outlaw here, and today we are going to be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. By 2014, the Transformers film franchise was at a crossroads. Michael Bay had made 3 huge blockbuster films that had a combined gross of over $1 billion, and plans were already underway to continue the franchise without Bay at the helm. However, it was decided that while they would go in a different direction with new characters and a new setting, Bay would return to keep his unique style from the previous films. Age of Extinction drastically changed the look of Optimus Prime, abandoning his admittedly clunky look for a sleeker, more streamlined design. While I was never a big fan of the change, I much prefer his original 07 look. The toys were the ones that suffered the most with the change. No previous figure was able to capture the stoic look of the new Prime design. They were either not very accurate or were way too bulky and kibbly to be any fun. I really like the new style of packaging. Hasbro is going for a new design strategy, with them going for a new uniform style throughout the lines. They have also done away with the Studio Series numbers and, more importantly, the background stand thingies that are now cluttering many a collector's closet. Taking a look at the figure itself, and I don't know how a figure can be so bulky and sleek, but Prime here definitely fits in that category. Looking at him from the front, and design-wise and proportion-wise, this is probably the best mainline version of this design. He's big, stoic, and definitely looks like the Knight Prime he is supposed to be. Turning him around, and while the kibble is pretty bulky, the distribution of the kibble is well done enough to where it doesn't really get in the way of movement. One thing that really gets to me is the paint apps, or lack of them. This figure is bursting at the seams with robotic detail, and honestly, this is one of the most detailed figures I have seen lately. Unfortunately, the gray plastic that makes up the majority of the figure kind of eats the detail up and doesn't really do it any favors. The paint apps that are there are nice and really well done. I really wish the chest was as well taken care of as the shins. The head sculpt is also very detailed, but like the rest of the figure, it really lacks paint. The little paint it does have is just enough to highlight how much it desperately needs more. I would even forgive them not painting the back of the head if they would just put something more on the face. So one more thing I gotta mention here is the fact that this back piece can detach for a more accurate, slimmer look. While doing this is very much optional, it does reveal more molded details that take a page right out of the CGI model. I don't mind the backpack so much, but it is a fun option to have if you really want your figure to be a little bit more screen accurate. The articulation on this figure is really good, but at the same time, really frustrating. Ball jointed head, shoulders that can go up, down, in and out. This shoulder piece is articulated and can move out of the way for more movement. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist swivel that can also move up and down, finger articulation. He has a waist swivel, but it's hindered by the hip pieces. Legs that can go forward, back, in and out, thigh cut, 90 knees, and foot articulation with an ankle tilt. This design really allows for some epic looking poses. That's really why this design works more than the previous one. The fact that there is no real truck kibble or hints of a truck in the CGI design is both a flaw and a strength, depending on where your preferences lie. The accessories that comes with this guy are probably my favorite Prime weapons from the films. He comes with his Knight Sword. Like the figure itself, this thing is very well detailed, but lacking in the paint department. I love how big the sword is, and it looks absolutely epic in his hands. His shield can transform from a shield to a blaster by moving the pegs. I'm glad they went this route instead of a sliding mechanism, because I think the latter would lead to looseness, and this way there is no looseness and the shape of either mode stays no matter what. He also has his classic Energon sword that he can either hold in his hands or place on his wrist. I gotta be honest here, compared to the Knight Sword, this puny thing is pretty much useless and will be nothing more than something I will be throwing into my ever-growing baggie of useless accessories. In my opinion, the most important accessory, however, is this thing. I know it doesn't look like much, but this little thing can be used to hold all the accessories to be placed on his back for storage. Man, I love it when a figure has something like this, and it's a very welcome inclusion to the set. Transformation is easy but very fiddly. The big chunks move smoothly and have no problem going into place, but the panels can get very frustrating. They are small and need to go into certain angles or else it affects the rest of the transformation. There are parts on my copy that, no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to get them in properly. Once you get everything in, however, you get Optimus Prime's new truck mode, a Western Star 5700. As much as I love the look of this truck, I find it infinitely odd that the thin, sleek robot mode can convincingly turn into this big, thick truck. The front of the truck is bulky, well painted, and dripping in small details that really up the beauty of this mode. Even more impressive is the back part. The clever transformation scheme allows the back hitch piece to be one of the most accurate to its real-life counterpart. It even has a spot for a trailer. This mode is a better representative of what's on screen more than the robot mode. The paint budget was definitely spent here, and along with all the details, really give this mode a premium feel. I don't know if this is an officially licensed product, but the care given to this mode makes me think this is definitely licensed. The weapon storage works here as well. Just put all the pieces together and they can be placed here on the back hitch. It's not the best looking setup in the world, but hey, this is a toy. I honestly cannot say for certain which version from the original Bay films is my favorite. My nostalgia makes me want to lean more towards the first version, but this version I think more fits the Prime character as portrayed in those films. The robot mode, not so much though. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the robot mode a lot, but I just think the original design is a better Prime. All in all, this design is really hard to take from a computer render to an actual physical transforming object, but I think Hasbro Takara were finally able to pull it off with this release. That being said, while it's not perfect, it's still a good addition to your movie Prime shelf. Bottom line, aside from being a little small for a leader class, the design, engineering, and build of the figure is a very impressive feat for a Prime that seems almost impossible to translate to physical form. Well, that was my look at Transformers Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all soon.
Laters!
Check out my Patreon for early access to my videos and shoutouts on future videos. Join up and let's talk toys.